to hand it over to the planner to walk us through that one.
Nice to see you all. It's been a long time here. Okay, so before I start, I have to add that two first applications are being processed by our own staff. So I'm gonna present them, but unfortunately we won't be able to answer all the questions. But for sure, if it's connected to any zoning bylaw. Okay, so conditional use application CU 61 2025 located on 5222 Redwood Road. And purpose of that application is to establish a contractor's establishment in order to allow a private exterior storage facility to be on the subject property. According to the zoning bylaw of San Clemente in AR, agriculture restricted zone contractor establishment is a conditional, and they propose an exterior storage of the construction vehicles and equipment to operate as a business there. So here we can see area location map of the subject property and some site plan from the applicant indicating the place of the future contractor's establishment and conditions of approval. Should council wish to approve this application, the RPD recommends the following conditions. This conditional use is limited to what has been presented in this application. Any other changes, replacements, or additions would require a new approval. Applicant owner obtains all required permits from us and municipality if required. Applicant owner to pay any outstanding taxes, fines, or fees to RM of San Clemente, and applicant owner to apply for a business license in accordance with the bylaw number 17-96. Also, applicant owner to comply with section 3.11 exterior storage is section of the zoning bylaw of San Clemente, and applicant owner to place a fence at least 1 foot inside of the property lines made of material that is not transparent. Applicant owner shall obtain the site in clean and orderly condition at all times with all construction materials and equipment within the compound area. Applicant owner shall adhere to RM San Clemente's noise bylaw 7/2020 and no construction work with any equipment used for their business shall be carried out on site. Also, hours of operation shall be limited to 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week unless otherwise approved by council. And applicant owner shall meet conditions by August 1st, 2026. Applicant owner to get a final inspection completed for the house on the property. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you for that, Valentina. Any questions to the planner from members of council? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Councillor Spicer, go ahead.
So one of the conditions is all required permits. When we take a look at some of the submissions here, it appears like this is a garage on a property without a principal dwelling. So have you guys checked into any of that? And I guess that would either require they build a principal dwelling or have a variance.
Yeah, that's a question to Staff Baran.
Actually, this is handled within the building department of the Red River Planning District. However, I did call their offices. The building is actually both, so it's a garage on the bottom and it's a dwelling habitat space on top. It has been approved that way as far as I'm aware. Building permits have been issued on it. The reason why I put condition number 12, which was applicant owner to get final inspection completed on the building, was because I did phone the building department and checked. And there was no final inspection, but everything else was done to code, as far as I'm aware.
Okay, no, it came to mind when I was reading the materials, so I thought I'd ask. Thank you.
Okay, so is the applicant in the audience this evening? If you want to come forward and tell us what your plan is, and council may have some questions for you, you can just come to the podium if you don't mind. Thank you. And state your name for the record.
My name is Michael Reed, and I'm the owner / landlord at 502 Rebeck Road.
Okay, so go ahead and let us know the reasoning for your application this evening.
My conditional use, is to apply for, a business to be ran, sorry, not a business to be ran, but for some construction vehicles to be brought home to this residence. 2 tandem dump trucks, 4500 series, Dodge, and a trailer with a skid steer on it. My tenants here, they operate a slag crushing business in the RM of Springfield, and it's just a yard site. They have no secured storage, so they bring stuff. They daily commute in a tandem to their yard or so forth. And right now, half the equipment's stored inside, half of it's stored outside, because in the winter months they do snow clearing and snow removal. So the conditional use permit is to be allowed to store 2 tandem dump trucks behind the principal residence, out of sight of the road. My driveway is roughly around 600 feet to the front of the building, so it's quite far off the road. As you can see, I cut out a little bit, but there's a field to the direct north and a residential property to the direct south. I have a little spiel written up here too that I was asked to apply for this by Red River Planning Bylaw due to what the vehicles that they were commuting home in. There's no work being done on the property unless it's just to clear snow on the driveway for them to be able to get out. If any of you guys know the area or live in the area, drifts and wind affect anything open to the northwest quite severely. There's only 2 tenants, and they are the sole employees of said business. All vehicles are green stickered, yearly safety, DOT approved. Some of the vehicles are stored within the garage of the residence, so they aren't unsightly to the neighborhood or anything of that matter. That's pretty much what I'd like to say. If anybody has any questions, or
Yeah, I'm just gonna ask council if anyone has any questions for yourself as the applicant. Go ahead, Councillor Strang.
I have a question. Of these vehicles have already been coming to the resident from your renters, right? They've all been already been arriving.
correct.
Okay.
While I was dealing with St. Clement's, sorry, am I allowed?
Yep, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm allowed to answer. So while I was dealing with St. Clement's bylaw, Tyler Freeman, I was instructed that we couldn't obtain a conditional use permit for said property because I'm the property owner, not the property.
Resident.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you. And unless I was involved in the business in any way, we were under the understanding that I couldn't apply for this permit. Red River Planning Bylaw, which I didn't realize there were 2 conflicting bylaws in the area. They are the ones who reached out to me and said that they would like this to be applied for and that I could apply for it on behalf of my tenants and the property. And the reason why I would like to apply for it over them is so that I could have control of it, as I am the property owner and would receive any fines or punishments due to anything that does arise there. So I felt it was best to keep that in my control so that nothing else could be done other than what I'd like. And there's no construction materials there. There's just like a couple pieces of equipment, and no real work is done there other than answering phones or making appointments to leave or you know, possibly changing a tire or something like that on, if it were flat there, obviously.
Go ahead, yeah, go ahead. One other question, and I see it in the conditional, the requirements there. Were you aware of the house not having final inspection or the?
Yeah, I was, during COVID, I was displaced and had to move in. I called multiple times to have a final done, and, it was at a time that wasn't really being done other than with pictures and things, and, it slipped my mind in the meantime. I talked to the RM and told him that I would apply for the final and probably have to renew my permit or something like that. Go through all those steps.
I have one question. Do you reside on the property?
No, I do not. I reside at 73073 Pioneer Road in East Salter.
You're in Pioneer Road. Okay, so I think we did establish that there is a residence on the second floor of the garage or the storage building.
Yep, correct.
Is there anyone living there on a permanent basis?
Yep, the two business owners
The
that
business
will
owners
be,
are there.
that are hoping to commute in their vehicles.
Okay, thank you for that. Any other questions from members of the council? Go ahead, Councillor Bazarovich.
So, like this is, I've been here quite a while, I've never had an application like this before.
Okay.
Is there any representation from the business here today?
There's not, for the reason that I was told by the RM that I would be, required to field any complaints or any issues or anything like that. So I felt that they were not really required, and there are limited seats, I was told, so I tried to save that for anybody else who was opposed for said application.
Okay, you also said there's only 2 employees with this business?
Correct.
Well, somebody sent in stuff here about, they're looking to expand the business already? They're hiring drivers?
I'm not aware of that, unfortunately. If that is the case, that would be something that I would not want, and that would be, my rental agreement states that, they are only allowed to come home to my property as a couple who's commuting to another site. So if they are hiring other people or they're putting out ads to hire people, I've made it very clear that it won't be done on my property, and I'm guessing that could come to their, operation site.
All right, thank you.
Councillor Belanger, who is on Zoom, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I think if we put a number of conditions here, once to see where this goes here, I think it's going to need a number of conditions. When the question was asked about the house, I mean, COVID was 6 years ago. I just don't buy that. It slipped my mind, so I'm sorry. That's not a good one for me. But conditions, I have a few. When we get to that point, it's going to need a few conditions here because I don't know what he's going to be hauling back there. Once he gets approval, is this going to become a storage place for all kinds of, you know what? So.
Yeah, I think there was a number of conditions that were in the proposed resolution, so maybe we can just, when we get to that point, we can just go over them, and if you have anything that you wanna add at that time, we can add them in at that time.
Okay.
I'd love to add to them.
Go ahead.
In the 7 months that they are there, they have hauled nothing back of any type of construction materials other than limestone that they just added to the driveway in a few low spots. And I made it very clear that this is not a storage yard for equipment for material or to be doing any type of work there, because that would affect me as a property owner being able to get them out. That wouldn't be something that I would want, and I would want that in a stipulation as well, if you can support that.
Okay, thank you for that. I do have, you can have a seat if you want, if there's no further questions from council. And we do have a number of letters and people who are in opposition, but first I need to ask if there's anybody else in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of this application, who is supporting it. I'm not seeing any hands being raised. And I will let everybody in the audience know that there were, probably about a half a dozen letters that were mailed in or sent in or emailed in opposition. But I'm going to ask, there was a sign-in sheet, and I do have one name on, or two names on the sign-in sheet. Corey Yusufia?
Oh, that's us.
Okay, did you have anything that you wanted to add at this point in time?
I just thought that was a sign-in sheet to come in here.
Oh, okay, so. No, you don't have to sign to come in, it's if you want to speak. So do you have anything that you want to add to this
Yeah, this is
application?
it.
It looks as if you are opposed, which you have checked off here. So do you have anything that you want to add at this point in time? No?
No, I don't have anything against what this gentleman is doing.
You're here for a different application?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
She just accidentally signed it.
On that one, okay, so,
I didn't realize there was different.
yeah, each application had its own sign-in
My
sheet,
apologies.
so. Okay, so having said that, we did have, as I mentioned, a few letters that are in opposition, but I'm going to go to the audience and who is in opposition of this, and if you would like to speak, please raise your hand. If you would like to come forward and state your name for the record, please.
My name is Chris Zacharias, and I reside at 5218 Rebeck Road, which is the house right next door. I guess my biggest concern is noise. We've experienced quite a bit of noise just because our house is between 20 and 25 feet away from the driveway. So we were experiencing quite a bit of noise just with heavy trucks and traffic going up and down the road, the driveway. Yeah, the noise shakes our walls on our house, and we can hear it at all times. It wakes us up at the middle of the night, like when they're doing snow clearing, coming home at night. So, that would be my number one concern. Yeah, I guess, I don't know if there's any ways around that. I would like to, personally, I would like to see no heavy equipment on site. But whether that's realistic or not, I don't know, so.
Okay, well, we can take that into consideration when we're moving forward with the application.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else in the audience who wishes to speak on this application? Doesn't appear that anybody is moving, or raising their hands, so if council is ready, we can close this public hearing and see if we can move it forward. But I will let you know that we did have at least 3 other letters that were in opposition of this, and council has copies of all those letters in their meeting package. Do you have anything you wanted to add?
Just for some clarification questions, Madam Mayor, if I could ask the
Sure.
planner.
Go right ahead.
Clarification is, this has been requested as a contractor or establishment because it's not being seen as a home industry. So there was a question from council as to why the applicant is making this request and not the tenant. The tenant can't make a request for home-based businesses. That has to be an owner living on site. Is that correct?
If it's home occupation, he, supposed
Home
to be the
industry,
owner.
yeah.
Yes, he's supposed to be the one. If it's a contractor's establishment, then not. He can apply, even the applicant with a permission from the owner, he can apply him by himself. That's not a problem.
So the reason he's allowed to make an application for a contractor's establishment on this property is because of the zoning of AR. Correct?
It's conditional. in
It's a
AR.
conditional in AR, but in a residential, you wouldn't have it. If it was a residential, such as rural residential, Would it be allowed in rural residential?
Let me check that. I haven't been through that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's,
Ringing a bell?
that's a new question I'm asking just today, and I apologize.
Yeah, I can check it.
Just need some clarification just for council's understanding.
Let's see the possible. Our zone. Okay, so we are in R and homes. Our zone is permitted,
Home occupancy, yes.
home occupations and
No,
home industries.
contractors establishment, is it
Home
permitted?
industries are conditional, contractor establishments. They are not listed,
So they're not permitted.
no.
And so, thank you, just wanted that clarification, just for council to understand. And although these are zoned AR, if you could just let me zoom out, or let me take control of the screen for a
Yep.
second. What I'm going to do is bring up for council an idea of what the neighborhood looks like. So these are all the properties, they are zoned AR, agricultural restricted, which are usually very large parcels. Are these, would you call these more large lot residential or more closer to agricultural restricted?
They're
That's a question.
mostly residential, as you can see here, because they're tiny and it's.
But very close because they're chain lots.
Those are the clarification questions I just needed council to know about, that's all. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you for that. Okay, I'm just gonna ask the applicant if there's anything that you wanna add. I know you've heard a little bit here. Is there anything that you wanted to add to your application at this point?
I don't think that I'd like to add anything. I can clarify any questions that anybody has or anything like that, but it is 12.88 acres, obviously very long. I am open to making some necessary changes to mitigate some noise from the neighboring property. As you can see, the driveway is very long, and unless you go right behind the building, there's really not a lot of room to turn around. So one of the things I brought up to maybe mitigate some of the noise would be to make a space in the front that they could turn around and then back into the back, so that they're not adding any nuisance noise backing down the 600-foot driveway. As well as, I don't think that it's unsightly, as it is very far back. There really is no neighboring houses, or, I mean, obviously there's properties that could see into the back, but it's not really unsightly from the road or from any neighboring decks or anything like that.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, is council ready to deal with this application this evening?
I have one question.
Go ahead, Councillor Horbis.
So you say you have a lease with these, with your tenants or whatever, and you say in your lease, it specifies what they can do and what they can't do?
Correct.
Okay, will there be some of those conditions in that lease that, planning has brought forward for you, or?
No, the conditions in the lease were from, an RM meeting in the past that I had attended, due to, it was brought up as, I forget how it was exactly worded, but there was a lot of people here for, the neighbors to the south of me at the time were complaining that there was an old bylaw that had been kind of misunderstood. that there were to be no commercial vehicles on any property unless behind the dwelling unit. And I took that wording out of that meeting because it wasn't being enforced, and I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it was to change the wording of that. And I just kept that in my lease so that they couldn't park anything in the front and make it unsightly.
Did you live here before?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
It's only a 1-bedroom upstairs, and we lived there till our son was 1, and then we moved to Pioneer Road.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so if council is ready to deal with this application this evening, I'll ask for a resolution to come out of the conditional use board, please.
Resolved that the public hearing for conditional use 61 of 2025 be closed and the regular session of council be convened.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, Councillor Vazzarowitz seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, council, are you ready to deal with this application this evening? Okay, if we go ahead, Councillor Strang.
Madam Mayor, you'll have to watch Councillor Belanger, it seems like there's a delay.
Oh, okay, thank you for that. Okay. Okay, so with that, if we could bring the resolution forward, it appears council is ready to deal with this application this evening.
Okay, so just a question for council. Will you be asking me to make any modifications to, as Councillor Blanche said that he might want to add some additions or anything?
Yeah, I'd like to hear his.
First,
Yeah.
first I'll read them off and then you can decide which ones you'd like to change or add.
Yeah.
His, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 8450 of the property legally described as River Lot 217 Plan 3393 and located at 5222 Rebec Road has made application for conditional use 61 of 2025 in order to allow a contractor's establishment and private exterior storage on a subject property in the AR agricultural restricted zone. Therefore, be it resolved, conditional use application number 61 of 2025 be approved with the following conditions. 1, this conditional use is limited to what has been presented in this application. Any further changes, replacement, or additions would require a new approval. 2, applicant owner obtains all required permits from the Red River Planning District and the municipality if required. 3, applicant owner to pay any outstanding taxes, fines, or fees to the RMSA plans. 4, applicant owner to apply for a business license with the municipality in accordance with bylaw 17 of 2019 or 1796. 5, applicant order to comply with section 3.11 exterior storage section of the zoning bylaw 5 of 2002. 6, applicant order to place a fence at least 1 foot inside the property line made of materials that are non-transparent. 7, okay, before I finish with 6, it says to place a fence at least 1 foot inside the property line. How far?
Within the boundary lines of the property line. It's just because we have no regulations on fences, so I didn't think it was appropriate that they put it right on the property line. So we always say, try to put it within 1 foot inside the property.
Is the applicant planning on putting some fencing, or we're telling him to do it?
It is a condition we're telling him to do.
So how long is the fence?
yeah.
He didn't outline anything in the site plan, I guess enough to cover the material he that it's required to bring back to the property. Like all storage must be inside the fence.
Inside the fence, so covering the storage area. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And to be clear, equipment, not material. Never material. I don't want to bring any material, and if a fence is required in the back where we will have equipment, not opposed.
Yeah, it says material. You can't see through the fence. It's material that is non-transparent, that's what he read.
For the fence.
The fencing isn't
Definitely.
a chain link, so you can see through it.
100%, I'm complete understanding of that. I just wanted to be clear that there would be no material stored there, only equipment.
Okay, and the fence only in the back or from the front to the back?
In the rear of the property.
In the rear of the property, all encasing the storage area?
Correct.
Okay, so let me just reword that. Applicant in order to place a fence at least 1 foot inside the property lines made of material that is non-transparent to cover the entire storage area of equipment.
So would that mean in front of the building? He was saying that they were parking in front of the building before, so. Would that include that or no?
No, I think he was saying that they would be, all the equipment is parked in the back.
Correct. There is no equipment in front. There's
Okay.
1 3/4 ton truck that is in the front. That's a daily driver, but there's no equipment. I try to get all equipment either in the building or behind. I try to not let the property get unsightly. Is that would be a sore spot for me.
7, applicant or shall maintain the site in a clean and orderly condition at all times with construction materials and equipment within the compound area. So in this case, I think we're gonna take out the construction materials. You're saying there's no construction materials, so
I would
it'll be
appreciate
with all equipment within the compound area. Okay, 8, applicant owner shall adhere to the Arm of St. Clement's noise bylaw, 7 of 2020. And 9, no construction work with any equipment used in their business shall be carried out of on-site.
Does that limit to snow clearing on the property? Like, do they need a different way to clear snow than the skid steer that they already own?
I don't think that would, I think they'd be a test of reasonableness. Okay, hours of operation shall be limited to 7 to 8 p.m., 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., 7 days a week unless otherwise approved by council. So in case council, did somebody raise a hand? Okay. Unless council wishes a different time there. 11, applicant owner shall meet conditions by August 1st, 2026, and then 12, applicant owner shall get final inspections completed for the house and the property. And further be able to resolve these conditions would be the responsibility of the landowner as they are not the applicant, and the landowner applicant shall, would all have to see that the tenants stay in compliance with the conditions that are approved by council. So approval shall expire if not acted upon within 12 months of data making. Okay, so Madam Mayor, I've heard several different comments, so let me see if I could address the first ones first. So I heard that there was a comment about the amount of what the contractor establishment will be allowed to do. So the applicant has said that they will only have equipment, no material, so it's not a full contractor's establishment. So do you want to put a restriction associated with that correctly on this?
Up to council.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would mean,
Was there anything in there about hours?
yes.
Yes.
We'll come to the hours in a second, so, so what is that the conditional use is limited, what has been presented in this application? Any further changes or replacement or condition additions would require new approval, so can we add in there, the conditions identified in this application are for equipment storage only,
I think you can add it,
as a separate item?
inside of the existing one,
Sure. Number 1, or,
no construction work with any equipment used for the business shall be carried out on the site. Maybe here, we
okay,
can
sure,
add-
in addition, sure, then we'll put in,
we're already
addition,
talking about
no-
equipment here, so.
no, only equipment to be stored on site, as, and nothing, any other approvals will require to come back, okay. So that'll be that one, and the hours of operation in here, it's been identified 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and you may wanna get a clarification. I think the applicant said that they only come in there and bring the equipment, store it, and then leave. And the latest they'd be coming in is 8 o'clock at night.
If that's the stipulation.
I'm just reading an ad here that says they're 24/7.
I know.
For the offsite snow clearing, they're 24/7, so, obviously, they could adhere to these times if that is the stipulation that's brought forward by council. They would just leave before 8 o'clock to go clear and haul snow all night, and they wouldn't be able to return until after 7 a.m. if that's my understanding of that, you guys could clarify for me.
That would be, that's how we would,
Council could clarify.
Yeah.
that's how it would be implemented, so that's how it would be enforced. Okay,
That's,
Who's gonna police this? That's what I wanna know, because you know what, this goes through at that time, like, are we giving our bylaw officer now another job doing this, like, with this? Right? Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna ask Councillor Belanger if he has anything that he wanted to add now that he has heard all the conditions. Councillor Belanger, did you have anything to add to the conditions, or what has been presented is okay?
I would like to see one more. I just, from what I'm reading in his letter here, it'd be just nice if he stayed honest with what he wrote in his letter. So the condition that I would like to see is, he's indicated 2 tandems, a Dodge Ram, a Ford F450, a Ford 350 plow, and a skid steer. So my condition would be, applicant doesn't exceed the amount of equipment that he listed in his application.
does council want that?
If he wrote that in, if he wrote that in his, if he wrote that,
No,
No, he's basically, number one is saying, it's what's been presented in the application presented that this is the kind of equipment he's using, but he's getting a contractor's establishment license, so if you wanted to increase it, you'd have to then have the review whether a contractor's establishment can have how many pieces of equipment on a large site. So if you don't restrict it now, you might have trouble enforcing it.
no, I just,
it's in the fence in the back though, too, I mean, right, or as long as it's covered. The only other thing is that you got somebody who's trying to run a business in a snow removal thing, and I understand the hours, you don't wanna bug everybody around you, but then how can you operate that? It's such an inconvenience that those hours don't really make that much sense, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that, like, usually they start, and they go at 6 in the morning and work till 10 or something like that. I don't know if that would be okay with the neighbor, but it's just, those hours are so, there's hardly anything for somebody to do anything, you know?
So I think part of the challenge, councillor, and is that the applicant has identified the tenants have another location as a yard site.
Okay,
And what they do is they store the equipment here because they don't have a controlled site where they have that other yard site. So this is to protect their equipment.
okay,
It's also, just to clarify, and I believe it is in my letter, it's commercial snow clearing. So it is all stuff that's not done at 6 in the morning, it's done throughout the night so that people can show up to their workplace and the snow's already taken care of and hauled away. They're not doing residential yards, they are sometimes, but that's not their main business, and if that became effective, obviously. And that was a stipulation that they couldn't do that anymore.
Okay, anything else, Councillor Belanger?
we wanted to have.
no,
So we'll add that one as well. So that'll be item number, so we made a modification to a couple of them, and then, and I think Heather's got the notes on those, and so the last one we'll add is number 13, which will be that it's restricted to those pieces of equipment that were identified in the application.
Okay. Okay, I think we have all the information. Go ahead, Councillor Belanger.
are we going to be notified, or is planning going to let us know when the final inspection is done on that house, or is it just something that happens that we never know happens, or it was approved, or what?
What's the condition?
It is a condition, so we would probably be notified by RRPD that that final inspection has been done, because it is a condition of this approval.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Councillor Bassaroli.
we had one of these,
a number of years ago, not with the owner and no representation for the business, but it was that they wouldn't be running their equipment up and down the highway or the road itself, that they would be coming in off of a highway down a feeder road. You know, instead of driving all the way from East St. Paul all the way up Rebec, they would come in off of, I don't know, Donald or Lubick,
Yeah, one of the gravel roads, yeah.
you know.
Rather than being on the pavement.
Or to
Well, we had the problem with the pavement, that's why we put that condition in.
Okay, what is the wish then?
Well, I'd like to see that in there.
Which roads would you be recommending then?
Yeah.
Because they're on Rebec. So they'd have to get, they'd have to
Church.
come down Church
Well, isn't, yeah, but
as opposed to Ludwig. And the other question would be if you're allowing this, and I guess my question is, if this has been given to the applicant for this particular business, the conditional use sits with the business or sits with the land? So if the business leaves, can now that conditional use continue, or can council restrict that?
No, that would be connected to, it's supposed to be connected to the business owners. So in that case, that would be connected to the landowners. So that's kind of tricky. That's why we usually connect it to the tenant, not to the owners. So if the tenants, AKA business, changes, then everything from the beginning is supposed to be there. I mean, the new application, new conditional use, new conditions, everything from the beginning. So for now, this is kind of,
So should council put that kind of condition in here, that if the tenants
yeah,
are no
maybe
longer
you
there,
should.
that the existing tenant, that the conditional use is then
Limited.
finished, limited? Okay.
Only seems fair in my eyes as well. Sorry for not being trying to call one, but that only seems fair in my eyes too, because the equipment, let's just say another tenant came in and he had no equipment. He's not gonna buy their dump trucks and their stuff, which is what I believe number one said.
So number 14 is, if council is prepared, council want me to put that in?
Please. Please.
Okay. Just wanna make sure I have enough council members telling me what to do. Okay, so number 14 will be the conditional use is only valid for the existing tenant with the applicant and is limited to that use only.
Okay, everybody good with all that? Counselor Belanger, anything further you wanted to add?
No, all good. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, so I believe that you've read the resolution, but I do
Made the
not,
modifications.
right, but there's no mover or seconder, so we will go to that part now. Can I have a mover for this resolution, please? Counselor Horbis, second, please. Counselor Sutherland. Is there any other discussion on this application? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is defeated.
Okay,
Okay, so we are going to move on. The next application we have is for a variation order. And I will need a resolution to move into the variation board, please.
Second, Madam
Yeah.
Mayor, just trying to get my,
resolved that the regular meeting be adjourned and the public hearing be open for variation order 124 of 2025.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Strang, second, please. Counselor Spicer, any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Okay, and that is variation order number 124 of 2025, and if the planner could go through it for us, please.
Sure, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm just sharing the screen. So this is a variance application view 124, 2025, located on 256 Lakeview Drive. And purpose of that application is to reduce the front yard setback and eave projections into the required yard to allow for a detached and attached garage to remain on the subject property. So according to the zoning bylaw of San Clemente, you are a suburban residential zone, permitted front yard for any accessory structure would be 50 minimum feet, and they are proposing 20.8. Also, minimum front yard for any principal structure is supposed to be 50, they're proposing 44.9. Eaves projection for any accessory structure or the principal is supposed to be 3 feet minimum, and they're proposing for the accessory 30.6 and for the principal 7. So I will explain a little bit afterwards why it's 30.6. It sounds like too much for any projections. I will explain it afterwards. So here we can see a location map of the subject property and a site plan based, I think it's kind of survey map from the applicant. So I want to point your attention here for my kind of little enlarged explanation in the picture here. So the allowed front yard setback, this is dropped by myself here with the red. So it's the 50. So this is an imaginary line that's supposed to be 50. So from that line, if we go into the borderline to the Lakeview Drive, the garage itself, I mean detached structure, placed already inside of the 50 feet allowed setback. So that's why I have to include the distance between that line of the 50, including the square footage of the garage itself and the projections. So this is the number that we came with because the projections are supposed to be inside of those 50 feet. So the actually projection instead of 3 feet, 30.6. Okay. Are we good, or am I too complicated? So my math here, you can see the 20.9 number from the property line to the accessory structure. You can see those numbers? No,
You're looking on the Lakeview Drive
yeah.
side.
So if I will point it here, you can see that number here. So that's 20.8 feet, the distance in between the property line. So they actually mentioned the they put abbreviation here that means eaves and trouts are 1.4.
Yeah.
So when I'm going with that 20.8 minus 1.4, we're getting 9.14. But from the 50 allowed, you have to go back because we included that attached structure in it because it's already in the allowed 50 feet front yard. That's why we have to take it all together. The projections, the distance from the imaginary line of the 50 and the eaves. So the projection is huge. That's why we kind of trying to explain it here. And instead of
Basically, the garage is completely inside.
inside, exactly.
Inside, so you're
And the
identifying that as
distance
a projection.
from the 50 to the garage includes in that too.
All right.
So the projections are huge here.
Yeah, so it's just seen as a projection into the front yard, but the garage is already in there.
Exactly.
And theoretically, the garage and the house are really showing it as a side yard instead of front yard, but it's front yard
Thank
according to the
you
zoning bylaw.
so much, yeah, this is exactly what I've tried to understand.
No, you said it properly.
So conditions of approval. Should council wish to approve this application, the RPD recommends the following conditions. This variance is limited to what is being presented. Any further changes, replacements, or additions would require a new variance approval. Applicant owner obtains all required permits from us and the municipality if required. Applicant owner to pay any outstanding taxes, fines, and fees to our rentals and comments. Applicant owner to use the garage for the personal storage only. Applicant owner to not use the garage for a habitable space. Thank you, Madam Mayor. That's what I have here.
Thank you for that. I guess I have a question. If we go back, oh, you still have it up there. Okay, so where is the driveway going on into this property? Do we have any idea? Cause I guess in my mind, the driveway would be behind the accessory structure, but then you're going right into the house. So is it in front of the detached garage?
Isn't it right by the property line?
Oh, maybe we got it here now.
Can you check that?
That's
Clear as a.
Yeah.
From the
Or no, it's right there.
From,
aerial
yeah,
position
now
map,
we can see, yeah.
see
Yeah,
here. You see that's, I think,
that's where you go in, and
Yeah.
that accessory building that we're talking about is to the west, and then it has the drive down to the creek, or the river, creek,
yeah,
okay.
this is how it looks.
Okay. Oh, whoops. Any other questions for the planner? Okay, is the applicant in the audience this evening? Do you wanna come forward and tell us why you want to do this way? And please state your name for the record, please.
Peter Aron, my name is Ilya Varro, 282 Nanton Road.
Okay, and you want the garage in this, location because,
So, I'm representing the clients, Bill and Donna, so they approached me because of the extensive issues with their existing home they purchased. Like we're a construction company, so, we come up with the idea to build their house because they have significant structural issues with the main, building, the main structure. So we have consultations with RM, with Red River Planning, we kind of discuss like what we're planning to do. And like everyone was in agreement what we're gonna do, so we prepared the new construction drawings, we hired a land surveyor, we hired geotechnical engineers, and unfortunately, only at the stage where I did the site layout to prepare for the new kind of construction, new permits, we found out that the existing building that had been purchased by them was built more about like 20 years ago, was built unfortunately violating the bylaws. And initially, we saw it as gonna be only in-house variance because of the way those eve projections calculated. And it shouldn't be like a big deal and the public hearing, but because of that, just the way the eve projection is calculated, it brought us to the public hearing. So what are we proposing? We're proposing to vary those, projections and front setbacks to allow us to proceed with the construction project. So the house is already existing, it's been sitting there for 20 years. And same with that shed or garage, and never raised any complaints. I think partially because the way that property is positioned, like I honestly saw that's a side yard, not a front yard. And I assume whoever built that, saw the same way. That was just a mistake by whoever built it originally. So what we're trying to, to do it here, just to bring everything to compliance with the bylaw. So when we continue with the construction project, we start with the front project and we're not violating things.
Okay, any questions from council? Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
I guess I probably have three. First of all, just for clarification, so it's the shed that we're varying only, not the main building?
The main building has a shed.
It is both, so partially the garage, you can see the garage, cause initially we only spotted the garage and it was supposed to be like kind of in-house variance. And then the shed came up too. I do not have confirmation, but I just recently received the email from Bill that the variance for the shed was applied. Is that correct? And granted
I believe in the past it
in the
was
past.
Also, the shed has already had approval of that.
previously with the previous owners.
Okay.
Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
Okay, so you're applying for a variance as existing. So none of the work that you're planning to do is going to change any of that?
We are keeping the garage because the garage is in a good condition. And it's also has the very expensive like in-floor hydraulic heat system. So we're gonna reuse the garage while we're gonna rebuild the house. So the garage will stay where it is as is, but we'll obviously do the cosmetics after we're done. But the garage, the main garage stays where it is.
So you're not
And the
changing,
shed was never in it, plan was just brought to our attention at the time we were applying for the main building.
so the projections won't change?
Nothing
None
will
of
change,
the-
yes,
None of what you're applying for will change?
correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, I'm just gonna see if there's anyone else in the audience who
Thank you.
wishes to speak on this application, so. Anybody in favor of this application, please come forward. And if you could just state your name for the record, because I do not have you on here, I don't believe.
Okay, my name is Donna Walchuk. Hi, and I live at 256 Lakeview Drive with those, over there. So I'm speaking on both our behalves right here. I just want to give you a little bit of history of how we ended up in this predicament. So here's our story. We purchased this house on November 22nd, 22, along with the detached garage. While waiting for a possession date, our lawyer began a search on the title permit records and any encumbrances on the property, but encountered privacy issues. So permission wasn't granted to him. However, when we signed the offer to purchase back in September, Mr. Fawcett, the previous owner, had signed a disclosure stating that there were no permit issues. I have those here if you'd like to see them.
Madam, if you hand them out, then they'll have to stay with council.
Yeah, that's
That's
fine.
part of the record.
I made enough copies for you to keep. Anyways, he signed this disclosure, right, stating that there were no permit issues associated with the property. So, because we weren't allowed to have our lawyer access the information without the owner's permission, we accepted these documents to be true. So it was after we moved in that it was determined that there were permits not obtained and existing permits were open but never closed. Fortunately, we had purchased title insurance. The title insurance provider hired a restoration company to assess the deficiencies and estimate the cost to remedy them in order for us to put the permits into compliance. That happened in January of 2023. The most serious concerns were structural and the foundation related. The required solution would involve lifting the house, installing new piles to meet code, and replacing the wood foundation. So, after a lot of investigation work, finally in July of 2025, the insurance company was unable to obtain a fixed price quote to bring the house into compliance. They instead chose to pay out the remaining balance of the policy after expenses, leaving us with the decision about whether to repair or to rebuild. We opted for a firm price new build to avoid the risk of escalating repair costs. Our intention always has been to retain the existing garage as it is in good condition, and it contains expensive in-floor heating systems. Since the insurance payout is not sufficient enough to cover the entire cost of this project, reusing the garage is the only viable option to move forward and not lose the original value of what we paid for the property. This includes keeping the detached garage as is. We only became aware of the setback issues of both garages of the new, as and after the new house plans were being prepared. So with that said, the garages are well maintained and are in good condition. The original house was constructed in 2004, with no complaints recorded or regarding it until the recent discovery of the permit issues. The detached garage was built in 2016 and it was approved with its variance, and the permit was closed on that. That was the only thing that was actually closed and had a permit properly done on the property. So, and again, there was no complaints or concerns that were brought up at that time. So we respectfully request the approval of the variance, as the affected side property only borders municipal land. The nearest neighbor is more than 200 feet away and across the road. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Any questions to the applicant from council? Okay, is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of this application? Okay, so now I will ask if there is anybody in the audience. I do not have any other names, I don't believe, on my list, that wishes to speak in opposition of this application. Okay, I do have another name on here, and it's Carly Bannister on a road that's further north on St. Peter's Road. Did you just want information on this, or did you want to speak on this?
We also just signed in.
Oh, you just signed in, okay, perfect. All right, thank you. Okay, so what is the wish?
Can I just
Go ahead,
make
yeah.
a clarification questions, just so that
Yeah,
council, because there was some confusion that I'm gathering. So my understanding is the detached garage or accessory structure was approved in the past through a proper variance and approval.
Yes,
And so it dealt with it. In this particular application, the projection is, how many, it was 1 foot something on the attached garage, it's how much, 1 foot something inches?
That was 30.6.
No, it's 50.
1.4 on detached.
Yeah, and not the detached, the attached
The
is,
Attached one.
44.9
44 feet
44
from
to
the
the
property line.
property line, yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Instead of
required to be
50.
50.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, so it's about a little bit over. So the uniqueness is, the fact is that the accessory structure is
Projects.
completely into that, and that's why the 50-foot projection. But realistically, it's only about a small projection, and the other accessory structure had been approved by separate variance in the past, but now new owners with this whole thing starts as a new application, so that you're encompassing the entire thing.
Legalize it
Yes.
all.
Yeah,
together.
so they're legalizing it, and it's legalizing something that has already been approved in the past, to some extent.
I hope, yeah, I haven't checked that.
Well, I guess the projection was missed in the past, because it existed when the accessory structure was built. Yeah, I'm assuming. So I just wanted that as a clarification for council. Thank you.
okay, I'm going to ask one more time, is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to speak on this application? I'm not seeing anybody move or raise a hand, so I will ask then to move on, and we will close the public hearing for the variation board, and we will move this one forward if we can.
Resolved, the public hearing for variation order 124/2025 be closed and the regular session of council be reconvened.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Brazerowic, second, please. Councillor Strang, any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, if we can have a resolution to bring this one forward, please.
Whereas the applicant or tax roll number 417100 legally described as lot 1 plan 37500 and located at 256 Lakeview Drive has made application for variation order number 124 of 2025 for a front yard setback of for accessory of 50 feet minimum to front yard setback for accessory 20.8 feet from front yard setback for principal 50 feet minimum to front yard setback for principal 44.9. From eve projection for accessory 2 feet maximum to eve projection for accessory 30.6. It's 50,
It's supposed to be 3
3,
from the zoning bylaw. It's supposed to be, any projection is supposed to be 3 feet at least, not 2.
oh, 3, okay.
Yeah,
So
all of
from eve projection for accessory 3 foot maximum.
Yeah.
To eve projection for accessory 30.6. For eve projection for principal 3 feet maximum. To eve projection for principal 7 feet. Purpose to reduce the front yard setback for eve projections into the required yard in order to allow for a detached garage to remain on the subject property. Variance for the attached garage is to reduce the front yard setback and save an eve projection in the required yard in order to allow for the attached garage to remain. Therefore, be it resolved that variation order 124 of 2025 be approved with the following conditions. 1, the variance is limited to what has been presented in this application. Any further changes, replacement, or additions would require a new variance approval. 2, applicant order obtains all required permits from the Red River Planning District and the municipality required. 3, applicant order to pay any outstanding taxes, fees, or fines to the Arc of St. Clements. 4, applicant order to use the garage for personal storage only. And 5, applicant order is to not use the garage for habitable space. And finally, approval shall expire if not acted upon within 12 months of the date of making.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, second. Councillor Horvis. Any further discussion on this application? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call a question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, so the next couple of applications we have are actually subdivisions and variation orders. Subdivisions, we do not have to go into a special hearing, so we're going to do the subdivisions first, and then we'll move into the variation. So the first one we have is subdivision file 25-3125.
Red River Planning District 4, sorry.
Go ahead.
It's been a long day.
Tina.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. So, yeah, that's a subdivision application S 25-3125 located on 32067 Road 19 North. And the purpose of that application is to adjust the boundaries between 2 parts of the residual lot 1 and residual lot 2 by creating a residual lot of 109.3 acres and proposed lot of 10 acres, 10.02 acres. Okay, this is a subject property that we can see on their location map and subdivision application map of the applicant with a proposed lot and 2 lots that would be consolidated. So according to the zoning bylaw of St. Clements, all lots in A80 zone are supposed to be 80 acres and 300 feet wide, and they're proposing the proposed lot 10. And it's 542.8 feet wide, and the residual lot would be huge. So everything in compliance for the residual, but the proposed one is less than needed, hence the future variance that we will hear today. Our analysis here that no new road being proposed, variance will be required to bring the lots into compliance. No concerns were raised from any agencies in the circulational process. The proposal is consistent with our resource and agriculture policies of the development plan. and our recommendations here. RPD recommendation and conditions for the approval. RPD recommends that the application be approved subject to conditions. RPD recommendation, the following conditions. Applicant owner submits confirmation in writing from the municipality stating that taxes on the lands to be subdivided for the current year in any areas paid, required applicable fees to be paid as per bylaw, provide a digital copy of the plan of subdivision to RM of San Clements, and applicant owner obtains the required lot density variances from RM. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you for that. Any questions to the planner from members of council? Okay, as this is not a public hearing, it is just for the subdivision. If there are any questions from council, they should be addressed at this time, and if council is, go ahead.
Sorry, I just want to clarify, there are no new lots being created here. They came with 2, and they ended up with 2. So it's kind of just a readjustment, I would call it, like from 2 huge lots to 1 bigger and 1 smaller. They're trying to consolidate those lands, as I understood from talking to them, that they want to use it as a huge agricultural and the farm where the farmer would be residing on. So that's the plan.
Okay, so having said that, we can deal with the subdivision and then we can go into the variation
for sure.
board. So,
No, Madam Mayor,
Oh,
because we
that's
bring them
combined.
together, we adjourn the subdivision, go into the variance as a public hearing, so that we can hear the issues and people have an opportunity to speak and then come back into the subdivision and then the variance.
okay, so we're not doing anything with the subdivision. We're just gonna
Adjourn.
park it. No, we're not gonna adjourn it because we had no hearing.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll park it.
Yeah, we'll park it for now.
Table.
Okay, so then we'll move into the variation board for variation. Oh, go ahead, Councillor Bazarowicz.
Question for Ms. Planner.
Mhm.
These lots would be consolidated and there's no more lots being created. So is this still a subdivision?
It's kind of boundary adjustment.
Okay,
Yeah, you
so
cannot
is
do
the
it
cost-
otherwise.
Are costs the same?
Yeah.
Still a subdivision application.
It is
with
still a
boundaries.
subdivision
Yeah.
application. You cannot do it without subdivisional process because you have to have a survey map for you to know exactly new waters of the proposed new lot and exactly new water lines for you to have all the monuments, all the wells, sewer, whatever. Otherwise, it's not.
Okay, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Actually, it kind of doesn't, because you're doing a subdivision application to do a consolidation, but that's the process.
Well, it was just with the survey and that,
Yeah.
if they're older pieces of property, yeah,
There is a possibility to do without any subdivisional process, consolidation of 2 adjoining properties with the same property line, you just unite them into one piece and that's it. There is a procedural stuff that you can do with the land titles, you just unite them and that's it. But here we do see different property lines with a readjustment, that's why they need that.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, I'm gonna ask for a resolution to move into variation board. We've parked the subdivision for the time being and we'll do the variation and we'll see where that goes.
Resolved that the regular meeting be adjourned and the public hearing be opened for variation order 120 of 2025.
Is it
Need resolution to open a public hearing?
Sorry, wrong public hearing?
Yeah,
Okay, I jumped ahead. I apologize. For variation order, reread that resolution one more time. Enter to resolve that the regular meeting be adjourned and the public hearing be opened for variation order 118 of 2025.
can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horvath, Councillor Strang, seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and carried. Okay, if you could walk us through this one, please, Valentina.
For sure, Madam Mayor, thank you. So this is a variance application, VO 1180-2025, located on 32067 Road, 90 North, same location. And the purpose of that variance is to reduce the minimum side area of the proposed lot as a part of the conditions that would be for that subdivision. So in a AD zone, each lot's supposed to be 80 acres in minimum, and they're proposing 10.02. Same in their location map, same applicant SAM. And conditions are standard. Should council wish to approve this application, I recommend the following condition. This variance is limited to what has been presented. Any other changes will require a new variance approval, and applicant obtains all required permits from us and RM if required. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you for that, Valentina. Any questions to the planner on the variation? Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
I hate to do this, but. So we are. They're doing a variation on the subdivision to create a yard site. Which has some existing buildings on it. Which does not include a residence.
You're right.
So is this a grandfathered situation with existing buildings?
Let me check that. Yeah, I think we missed it. We have no residents here, just accessory structures. Yeah, we should add a condition for a variance for the accessory structures being prior the subdivision, the main one. You're right.
Would that be still part of the same application? Should this be then maybe adjourned and come back?
Yes, definitely. We can put inside of the existing variance as another one on the side. And that's gonna be just tiny addition into that. And then we can just discuss it all together.
Yeah, considering we missed it as opposed to the applicant applying for another application.
Yeah.
They will not have to. Yeah, thank you for that, Council Spicer. This is the second time actually that something like that happens. Yeah, but I think the first one, we were good, but on that case, yeah.
I just don't want them walking away thinking they're all good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you're right.
they're not really all good.
So what is this next variance for?
For
Sorry,
the
that's okay.
accessory structure,
Before primary.
being constructed prior to the main dwelling.
Can't just put it in this variance? No?
It hasn't been advertised around though.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, unfortunately, we'll have to.
Okay, so if this has to be re-advertised and everything, there will be no additional cost to the applicant?
It's supposed to be 260, is there another one on the side if I'm not mistaken? I will check the fee chart for it. But I think, yeah, we will do something with it.
It's cheaper than doing another variance.
No need for another variance because they're already applying for the variance, so we're just gonna add another one on the side
Right.
as a residential one. It's not another lot density or whatever huge variance, it's just another one on the side.
Is the applicant here? Okay, does the applicant understand what's happening?
So,
Just wanna make sure you are,
yeah, maybe
it's
that's
clear
the
for
place
you.
to ask question. There is no dwelling on the land.
No.
Okay.
So what happened was that, that was missed in the application. So you can make a request to see if you aren't to charge any additional charges is what they're talking about. But this is gonna be delayed for approval mainly because it was missed. Otherwise, you would have to come back. Cause a zoning rule is, or a general rule is that you cannot have an accessory structure like a garage without a house. So you can't go out and build a garage and not have the house always has to be built first before. And so because you don't have that, and since this is an existing situation, they're gonna give you a variance approval for it, so they need to build that in. So this will get delayed by another month for a final approval. So your subdivision and the rezoning are both kind of, or the variants are kind of tied together. So both applications will be delayed and brought back later.
So we'll come back in a month here.
Well, and I do have
I think a
another,
month yet.
I do have another question on the lot where the accessory building is. Are you planning to put a residence on that property? Cause that could come into play also.
Yeah, we have a farmhand that's interested in the property.
So there wouldn't be another residence going on that property, you're selling it as, or however you're doing it with the farmer that wants it? He's not gonna be putting a residence there?
Well, you're selling the 10 acres.
Yeah,
for
we're selling
somebody,
the 10 acres as a building lot for
so
the guy.
somebody can
Yes,
build.
so that they
Yeah.
can build a home on it.
Yeah, but there was a house on there before, wasn't there?
Yeah,
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 was that Robbie's place?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was a dwelling on there at one time.
Well,
Okay.
technically,
I don't know if it's still.
technically there is a dwelling, but I wouldn't live in it.
Yeah,
So
there is a
technically
house,
there is a
there is a
house.
house on there
Well,
now.
if there's a house, then
Yeah.
we don't have to,
Yeah, there
whether
is
you
a
can,
house.
whether you wanna live there or not is a different story.
There is a house there, a barn there, and a metal building there,
Let
so.
us clarify this. So there is a dwelling that exists there?
Yeah.
Because I have nothing on the map.
Yeah, cause it says barn, shed, and
The
Quonset.
barn is a barndominium.
Oh.
They turned the barn into a house. They live in the barn.
I like
They've
that
been living in the barn.
terminology.
That's
It has
actually
water and-
allowed
Yeah, it has water.
in, oh, you know what? I think that was our consideration here. That's why
Maybe that's why it's not.
Allow
we
it to happen.
not took it as another variance here, because in A80 zone, principal dwelling might be a barn.
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
So you don't have to come back now.
No,
We don't have
you
to
can
do
approve it today.
nothing with
Oh,
it.
okay, with
so I'm
it.
glad we asked the
We're
questions.
good. Good questions been asked. Thank you so
Well,
much
we got
for
the
that.
information.
Yeah. Yep, barn or even Quonset can be.
We're back to the variance. The variance can be approved
Yes.
because there is
Wait a
a
minute.
primary dwelling with an accessory
Get my
structure.
heart going.
Okay, so are there any other questions from council?
Thank you all for the information.
Yeah. Did you have anything you wanted to add?
No.
No. Okay, so I can kind of,
So we can close the public hearing and make a decision on the variance and then go back and approve the subdivision.
okay, I'm just gonna check if there's anybody else in the audience who wanted to speak on this variation order. Doesn't appear that way, so let us move on.
So resolve the public hearing for variation order 120 of 2025 be closed. Sorry, again. Wrong one.
We've been here too long today.
Resolve that the public hearing for variation order 118 of 2025 be closed and the regular session of council be reconvened.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Strain, Counselor Sutherland seconds, all in favor, opposed, carried.
Whereas, sorry, Madam Mayor.
Go ahead.
Whereas the applicant order tax roll number 55, yes.
Don't we do the subdivision first?
Go back to something.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's,
you gotta do the subdivision.
thank you.
That's why it takes so many people to do this.
To do this job.
Everybody's got one thing to remember.
We're good, there'd be so much people here.
It's a one-man job.
The only person who doesn't understand it is the applicant. So regarding subdivision application number, subdivision application S 25-3125, proposal of Manhart to subdivide, legal subdivision 3, 5, and 6 of Southwest Section 4-16-6 EPM. Resolved that council approve the application subject to the following conditions. 1, the applicant or submits confirmation in writing from the municipality that's stating that, A, taxes on the lands to be subdivided for the current year and any arrears have been paid. B, required application fees to be paid as per bylaw 8 of 2023. C, provide a digital copy of the plan of subdivision to the owner of St. Clements. And 2, applicant obtains the required lot density variance.
Moved by Councillor Horbus, second please, Councillor Sutherland, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question, all those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. And now we will move to the variation.
Whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 556200 legally described as legal subdivision 3-5 and 6 southwest section of -4 or 4-16-6 EPN and located at 32067 Road 90 North has made application for variation order number 118 of 2025 from site area 80 acres minimum to site area proposed lot 1 10.02 acres. Proposed purpose, to reduce the minimum site area of the proposed lot as part of the conditions for the subdivision application, that's 25-3125 in the A80 agricultural general zone. Therefore, be it resolved, variation order 118 of 2025 be approved with the following conditions. 1, the variance is limited to what has been permitted in this application. Any further changes, replacements, or additions would require a new variance approval. 2, applicant owner obtains all required permits from the Red River Planning District and the municipality required. And finally, approval shall expire if not acted upon within 12 months of the day of making.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, second, Councillor Horbus, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question, all those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, so that one's
But
done.
you still gotta come back next month.
Just to see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are down to, variation 120 of 2025. And subdivision,
Subdivision 3127. So first subdivision.
According to agenda, it's 3126.
3126, I'm sorry, I'm still jumping ahead.
yeah.
You wanna go home, mate?
I'm going to leave.
Yes.
Okay.
You're done, you can go.
Yeah.
I go pick up our 3 kids.
Can hear them crying in the car.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
See ya.
See you. Okay, so we're going to do the subdivision first. Okay,
Thank you, Madam. So subdivision application is 253126, located in 4911 Riddick Road and unaddressed parcel road 43800 and 43850. And the purpose of that application is to readjust the property boundaries into 2 lots, each being 2 acres in area in AR agriculture restricted zone. Here we can see a location map of the subject property and subdivision application map. And also they're proposing a piece for the road to be constructed in the future. And I just mentioned here some highlighting area that they came actually with 2 lots originally. The narrow one that comes along the whole line and the whole distance, and that tiny piece that they gonna purchase from RM to unite, to consolidate those 2 into other 2. So they're gonna create from one huge and one tiny 2 equal lots. That's why that's not a addition of any lot. That's why, again, it's a readjustment of the boundaries. So according to the zoning bylaw of St. Clements, each proposed lot is supposed to be 4 acres big and 198 feet wide. And they're proposing each one of 2 acres and 66.22 and 98.7 feet wide lots. They are not in compliance according to the lot sizes, hence the variance that we're here today. And our analysis here, land, piece of land would be dedicated for the road allowance to allow road connectivity with all the lots north and south to the proposed application of land. Variance will be required to bring the lots into compliance. Properties located where infill policies can be applied. That's something for you to think of, because if you remember, we do have that option to make it less if it goes one by one to the existing lots that are already 2 acres or less than 4 acres already in the area, but unfortunately in that case, we're not, all lots are around 4. But still, it is an area that usually that infill section appeared. And the RPD recommendation and conditions for the approval. The RPD recommends that the application be approved subject to conditions. The RPD recommends the following conditions. Applicant owner submits confirmation in writing from the chief administrative officer of the municipality that taxes on the land to be subdivided would be paid, required applicable fees would be paid. The digital copy of the plan would be provided to the San Clements 2. Applicant owner to prepare a drainage plan to be submitted to RM. Applicant to provide a letter of credit to the municipality if required prior to drainage construction. Ensure proposed road as shown on the subdivision map is registered under its own separate title in the name of RM of San Clements. Applicant submits written confirmation from Manitoba Conservation that all required approvals have been obtained in relation to the existing septic field. Applicant owner to obtain all required variances, hence the variance that we will hear today. Applicant owner submits written confirmation from Manitoba Hydro that the easement been entered with that property, and owner's developer obtain a permit from Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure for a new access into a Raleigh Road. That's it, Madam Mayor, what I have here. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay. Questions? Go ahead, Councillor Strang.
Let me just get clarification, what's the frontage on the property?
You mean the width?
Yes.
All widths are smaller than required, but we're grandfathering those according to the section 3.1.13 that unaltered widths are not required for any variance to go through, even if they apply for a variance here for 2 lots, and lot density variance includes it all, so it's covered.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to know because I can't read it on the, what is the width?
Oh, it's the 31 meter.
Okay, but it still is the 2 acres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Each lot would be
Yeah.
2 acres. Yeah.
So as long as it's on an existing road, that it's fine down in the south end. The other thing is, would these lots be required to go into a holding tank because of the frontage?
Could be. That'll have to be determined by the province of Manitoba.
That can be covered in DA also.
Sorry?
That can be covered in DA, that you will,
In the development
in
agreement.
development agreement.
No, I'm just the,
No, I think the question that the councillor is asking is, can they create a
Still,
septic field? I don't know if they can on a 2 acre lot, if the width isn't appropriately large enough. But
yeah,
the province of Manitoba makes that decision, so when they go to make that application to do it, they'll make that decision, whether they have to put in a tank or not. But they are 2 acre lots, and what the situation here is that one will be off in Raleigh and the other one will be off in Rebec.
That's
And
why
we get
they're
the middle
consolidating.
lot as a roadway.
Sitting there in 2 years.
Okay, so that is the subdivision. So now we're going to move into variation board.
Sorry, I just wanted to correct my answer to Councilor Strain, that's not 31, that's there's some road here, that width would be 20,
Yeah.
like
20
here,
by 4.
20, and that's meters. So it's
60
about
feet.
68 feet.
I think the magic number is at 190
It's 200.
to 200. Okay.
190.
Yeah, then they will have
So
to
most likely it'll be-
tax there.
Yeah, but it would be their decision, so you don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
190. Right there.
Okay, so now we're going to move into the variation board for this one.
So it's making sure I'm at the right variation.
Yes.
Resolved that the regular meeting be adjourned and the public hearing be open for variations. 1/20/2025.
Moved by Councillor Horbus, second please, Councillor Sutherland. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried. I'll hand it back over to you for the variation,
Thank you, Madam
Valentina.
Mayor. So is variance application BO amending 2020-25 located on the same address. And purpose of that application is to reduce the minimum site area of 2 proposed lots as a part of the conditions for the subdivision that we have been before. So according to the zoning bylaw of San Clemente, each lot in the area is supposed to be 4 acres big and 198 feet wide. And they're proposing 2 and 98 and 62.22 for each one of the lots. It's the same allocation map and the same subdivision application map that we're talking about. And conditions of approval are standard conditions. Should council wish to approve this application, the RPD recommends the following conditions. This variance is limited to what is being presented. Any other changes will require a new variance approval, and the applicant will obtain all required permits from us and RM if required. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you for that. Any questions from council to the planner? Is the applicant in the audience this evening? Do you have anything that you want to add to your application at this point?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak on this application? Okay, so if there's nothing else, we can come out of the variation board and move this one forward.
Resolved that the public hearing for a variation order 1/20/2025 be closed and the regular session of council be reconvened.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazarowitz, second. Councillor Strang, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, so we are doing the subdivision first, and then the variance.
Regarding subdivision application S25-3126, proposal of McDonald and ends to subdivide OTM lot 242 Parish of St. Andrews Plan 10554 and OTM 242 Parish of St. Andrews Plan 10335. Resolved that the council approve the said application subject to the following conditions. One, applicant owner submits confirmation writing from the municipality stating that A, taxes on the lands to be subdivided are current for the current year and arrears have been paid. B, required applicable fees to be paid as per bylaw 8 of 2023. C, provide a digital copy of the plan of subdivision to the RM of St. Clements. D, applicant owner prepare a drainage plan to be submitted to the RM of St. Clements for review and acceptance as per the current servicing standards of the municipality. E, applicant owner to provide a letter of credit to the municipality if required prior to drainage construction, amount to be determined. And F, ensure a proposed road as shown in the subdivision application map is registered under its own separate title in the name of the RM of St. Clements. And then 2, the applicant owner submits a written confirmation from Manitoba Conservation, Environmental Compliance, and Enforcement that all required approvals have been obtained in relation to the existing septic field. And 3, applicant owner to obtain all required variances, lot size, area, building, etc., if required. And 4, applicant owner submits when confirmation from Manitoba Hydro that an easement agreement has been entered into with Manitoba Hydro with respect to the existing and future facilities associated with the subdivision, and a plan of easement as required by the Real Property Act has been provided. Registration for this agreement will be included as a condition of the final certificate of approval. And 5, the owner developer obtain a permit from Manitoba Transportation Infrastructure for the new access onto Raleigh Road. For permit information, please email access the email provided on the application.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, Councillor Horbus seconds. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. So now we will do the variation.
So whereas the applicant owner roll number 43800 and 43850 legally described as OTM lot 242 Parish of St. Andrews Plan 10554 and OTM lot 242 Parish of St. Andrews Plan 103335 and located at 4911 Rebec Road has made application for variation order 120 of 2025 from site area 4 acres to site area proposed lot 1, 2 acres, proposed lot 2, 2.202 acres, from site width 198 feet minimum, proposed lot 1, 98 feet, and proposed lot 2, 66.22 feet. Purpose to reduce the minimum lot size of 2 proposed lots as per condition of subdivision S 25-3126. Therefore be it resolved the variation order 120 of 2025 be approved with the following conditions. 1, the variance is limited to what has been presented in this application. Any further changes, replacement, or additions that are not sustainable or substantial conformance with the applicable with the application or to require a new approval. 2, applicant owner obtains all required permits from Red River Planning District and the municipality if required. And finally, approval shall expire if not acted upon within 12 months of date of making.
Thank you for that. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Strang seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call a question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, so that one is complete, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we have one more.
You're done. So
I'm done, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Take care.
Okay, so we are down to, one more subdivision and
One more variance.
variation. So this is on St. Peter's Road. And we're going to do the subdivision first. So go ahead, Valentina.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So that's a subdivision application, that's 253127, located on 82-141 and 82-149 St. Peter's Road. And the purpose of that application is, again, we have only readjustment here today, readjust the property boundaries into one residual lot of 48.47 and proposed lot of 14.5 acres big. Here we can see a location map of the subject property and application subdivision map for the proposed subdivision. According to the San Clemente zoning law, each lot in A40 zone is supposed to be 40 acres big and 300 feet wide, and they're proposing the proposed lot 14.5 acres and much more than needed with, and the residual lot also will comply with all these requirements. So our analysis here that no new road proposed variance would be required to bring the lot residual lot into compliance. No concerns were raised from any accounting agencies. And the proposal is consistent with our already resource and agriculture policies of the development plan. Our recommendations here, RPD recommends that application be approved subject to conditions. RPD recommends the following. Applicant owner submits confirmation in writing from municipality stating that the taxes on the lands to be subdivided, they would be paid, required applicable fees would be paid, and digital copy would be provided. Applicant obtains the required lot density variance from REM. And that's it. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions to the planner on this subdivision application? Not seeing any hands go up, so can we move to the variation, please?
Resolved that the regular meeting be adjourned and the public hearing be open for variation order 125/2025.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, Councillor Horwath seconds. All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it back over to you, Valentina, for the variance.
Yep, thank you, Madam Mayor. So that's the variance application, the old 2025 located at the same property. And the purpose Okay, with the application is to reduce the minimum side area of the proposed lot as a part of the condition for the subdivision that we heard before. So according to the zoning bylaw, in a zone, each lot's supposed to be 80 acres minimum, and they're proposing 10.0.
I think it was 14.5, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah, I think I have here a typo. And the slides, let me just check if we're good in the record, yeah, all good in the record. Okay, so please ignore that, okay, we're gonna address it as here. So it's 14.5 and 40 acres being paid for a zone. Subject the same property, oh, yeah. So that's the same subdivision application map, and our conditions are started here for this variance. Should council wish to approve this application, the RPD recommends the following. This variance is limited to what has been presented. Any other changes will require a new variance approval, and applicant obtains all required permits from us and the municipality if required. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you for that, Valentina. Any questions to the planner on this application? Okay, this is the variation, so I'm gonna ask if the applicant is in the audience this evening? No?
We were just curious about it.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have any questions or anything like that?
Yeah, we're just wondering if they're gonna build or be planning to do anything like that there. They kind of backs right off onto our property, so that's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
and,
was just more being curious.
right, unfortunately, they're not here this evening,
I
so.
think they're subdividing the homestead part of it, aren't they? Because it looks like there's a building there on site, the part that they're subdividing out.
Yeah,
The 14
well, they're
acres.
adding to that lot, aren't they?
Does it have a dwelling on it?
Looks like that's what I was wondering.
Consolidating, yeah, to make it bigger.
Yeah, they're adding to it.
They're adding to the 48 acres.
Existing-
Yes, to,
The
And then
existing
turning-
yard site.
yeah, they make it bigger.
They're making the
Yard.
farming site larger.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's why it falls under the policy. pretty
Right.
much, but, yeah. Any enlarging.
So just to explain for you, so the land was subdivided previously. So you're allowed to take farmland and create a homestead and cut that off and then retain the farm. That was what was previously done probably, and now they've reduced the homestead to smaller to keep the farming side larger.
Perfect,
Thank you.
thanks.
Go ahead, Councilor Belanger, I think someone said you had your hand up.
No, I was just gonna ask, is this Yerkew's subdivision?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, they're just consolidating from what I understand.
Yep,
Okay.
it is. No new laws being created.
Okay, perfect. So this was so mixed up. This was the subdivision.
That was the variation.
Variation, so we
We
can,
haven't closed the public hearing.
okay, so we'll close the public hearing for the variation and deal with that.
Resolved that the public hearing for variation order 125 of 2025 be closed and the regular session of council be convened. Did we close it already?
No.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Horbis moves, second, please, Counselor Bazarowicz. All in favor, opposed, carried. Okay, so if we have a resolution for the variation,
For the subdivision first, and then
subdivision, please.
regarding subdivision
Long day.
number S 25-3127, proposal of Eurocue to subdivide lot 1, plan 15009 and river lots 152-154 parish of St. Peter. Resolved that council will approve the said application subject to the following conditions. 1, applicant owner submits confirmation in writing to the municipality stating that A, taxes on the lands to be subdivided for the current year and any arrears that are paid. B, required application fees to be paid as per bylaw 8 of 2023, and C, provide a digital copy of the plan of subdivision of the Arm of St. Clements. 2, applicant order obtains the required lot size variances.
Thank you for that. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Belanger is moving, second, please. Councillor Horbis. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried.
Now dealing with a variation, Madam Mayor.
Now we're gonna move to the variation.
Whereas the applicant owner tax roll number 403-800 and 403-850 legally described as lot 1 plan 15009 and river lots 152-154 parish St. Peters and located at 82141 and 82146 St. Peters Road has made application for variation order number 125-2025 from site area 40 acres minimum to site area proposed lot 1 14.5 acres. Purpose to reduce the minimum site area for the proposed lot as part of the conditions for the subdivision application S25-3127 in the A40 agricultural limited zone. Therefore be it resolved variation order 125-2025 be approved with the following conditions. The variance is limited to what has been presented in the application. Any further changes, replacements, or additions that are not in substantial conformance with the application will require a new approval. 2, applicant will obtain all required permits from the Red River Planning District and the municipality as required. Approval shall expire if not acted upon within 12 months of date of meeting.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazarowitz, second, please. Councillor Sutherland, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call a question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. And I do believe that ends our planning for this evening. I know.
That was a good catch. But I forgot that I resolved that before.
Well, no, it's good that
Yeah.
we knew what the property was,
Didn't we know the resolution?
cause they didn't really know what we were saying.
We so got used to deal
I
with the
thought it was
residential
actually
areas.
another property that he had.
Oh,
that had a
okay.
building on it. I didn't know it was this one.
We got used to use so much in residential, it's supposed to be main dwelling there, that we forgot that. In any agriculture, any barn can be principal,
Yeah.
yeah.
They,
And
this one,
agriculture
they were
really-
living in this barn
Yeah.
upstairs, like the
I
top.
think that's
of it.
Phantom
Oh,
Road.
That's where he.
So that's kind of tough.
Leave it here for now.
We have some resolutions coming on the camera, so we're gonna bring those forward.
Yeah. Pass it over. Man, am I ever beat? I don't know why.
We have 2 resolutions that came out of in camera. One is, the first one is whereas 4 community groups within the rural municipality have requested letters of support from ground up grant applications as follows. Red River North Trails Association applying for the installation of the crosswalks in the RM for trails, one near Covell Road at St. Peters Road, and one in Grand Marais near Sunset Avenue. And east, the next is Eastern Beaches Development Corporation requesting support for 2 signs in Grand Marais, including mural and relocation of the signs near Pete's Grand Hut. And 3, the Grand Marais Recreation Association applying for funding to assist with facility renovations. And 4, Grand Marais Community Central applying for funding to construct a 30 by 30 sun shelter. And whereas providing letters of support does not represent any financial commitment from the municipality, therefore be it resolved that council approve the recreation manager to issue the letters of support to all 4 community groups listed above for inclusion in the from, ground up grant applications.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Bazarowicz, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. He's gonna say what the hell.
So, the next one, Madam Mayor, is related with the 2022 draft audit. And so be it resolved that court receive the draft consolidated financial statements for the Rome Valley for the year ending December 31st, 2022, as presented by Reed and Miller Chartered Professional Accountants Inc., and authorizes the mayor and CAO to sign the necessary representation letters in order to receive the final audit for council.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, second. Councillor Horbis, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried.
Finally, Madam Mayor, adjournment. Resolved that the meeting for council be adjourned at 8:05 PM, January 27th, 2026.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horbis, Councillor Strang, seconds. All in favor? Opposed? And that is carried.